This is not getting discussed on the mainstream media. Not only are they wrong legally, but the fact that they would do this is outrageous. This is an overreaction and really nonsense. How would you react if this was your son or your daughter? It's the offense of knowing the truth. It's the offense of having an alternate worldview. Saying God bless you to someone is not a violation of the law. Welcome to the broadcast, everybody. We are in our studios here at our media center for the ACLJ. Now, in this media center is where our radio, internet, TV production comes from, but in the last couple of days, and you can tell by looking at the set here, this has also been used for a music video. A video that was done for a very good friend of ours, a great talent, a guy that you all know very well. That's John Schlitt. John, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank
Always
you,
great
Jay.
having you here.
It's a ball, buddy.
And this was a very different experience for all of us, and that is that you had written a song, or your team put together a song called Faith and Freedom. And it really does speak to the situation we find ourselves in America, that we do have hope. Let's talk about the song, and we're going to talk about, by the way, at the end of the broadcast, folks, you're going to see the world exclusive premiere of this music video. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know how you can get information about the great CD that's out. Let's step back a bit, John, and talk first about the CD.
Okay.
The Greater Cause. Talk about that.
Well, it took me about a year to do it. It's a venture. Start from Kickstarter, which was the way I financed it, through volunteers.
And this was when you did the Kickstarter was just starting to get popular in this area, and it worked very well.
It worked
really
fantastic.
Yeah.
I have 500 partners, and
people that are with you on
and they have absolutely stuck with me. It's been great, and it's been increasing. And they, I promised them I would do a Christian rock record that I think they would relate to it, and they totally accepted it and trusted me, and it came out, and I think it was I think they have been
So
happy.
the name's The Greater Cause.
Yes.
Let's talk, why that name?
Well, my wife and I, during our quiet time one morning, we were talking about what could we call it, and my wife came up, The Greater Cause, and I said, oh my gosh, that hits it. Because right now in the struggle, I'm getting older. I'm seeing.
We're all getting older.
Oh, isn't that a shame? But
that's life.
But I'm seeing things happening that I can actually relate to. I have references now, and we have a cause. We have a cause. I love my country. I love my faith. And I think they joined together, especially with this song. And I wanted to make sure that I had one song that made that very clear, that my faith, my politics,
your worldview,
my worldview came together, and my faith is absolutely intertwined, I believe, in the structure of what's happening in our politics.
Yeah, especially this time of year with presidential elections and everything else that's
Absolutely.
going on. It's a major time of year. What I found interesting in the song is that when you look through the lyrics of the song, is the focus on citizenship here in the United States, but in heaven. You make that statement's very clear in there, and let's talk a little bit about that. How did that play into this? We're going to have a lot more after this, by the way, on the break, but let's talk about those lines in particular.
Okay.
That I'm a citizen here, citizen in heaven.
Well, I believe that the Founding Fathers realized that faith had to do with our laws. Our laws are very important. The Constitution, of course, to me is absolutely the second most important document in the history of mankind.
Right.
But the first document, the Bible, is what they reference from.
Absolutely.
The spirit of the Bible, the spirit of our faith,
right,
is what strengthens our Constitution. And I believe they have to go together.
Yep.
And I'm afraid right now, there are folks that believe, no, you totally phase that out in the Constitution, and then they use that as an excuse that the Constitution is relevant. It is relevant, but they go together. And I think we need to reiterate that point, that we need to bring across that attention again. They work together. Faith and freedom.
Well, Declaration of Independence is clear. It says we're endowed by our Creator, by God, with these inalienable rights. And you're right, that was a very different concept at the time, but it was right in the Judeo-Christian tradition. That's where it came from. We're going to be taking a break. We're going to have more with John Schlitt when we come back. At the end of the broadcast, you're going to see this music video that we produced right here at our media studios and media center. It was a lot of fun to do it with John, and I even got to play the drums. So a lot of you out there wondering, is Jay Sekulow a drummer? The answer is yes. But trust me, I don't do that for a living, and that's good for everybody. Folks, we're going to come back from break. As we go to break, let me encourage you to do something, though. We're talking about faith and freedom. John just talked about the Constitution. We've got a great booklet, and I'm going to do something special here as well. We've got a great booklet out there. It's called Foundations of Freedom, and I want to get you that book. When you call the number that's on your screen, 1-877-989-2255, and the number's right there on the screen, 877-989-2255, or go to aclj.org, you'll get that Foundations of Freedom free, and we're going to let you know how you'll be able to view this music video that you're going to be seeing today. We're going to have a special website set up just for that. So stay with us. We've got a lot more ahead with John Schlitt.
The American Center for Law and Justice is committed to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms. Whether it's in court or on Capitol Hill, the ACLJ stands ready to defend the Constitution. And there's no better way to get the information you need than through the ACLJ's website at aclj.org. Also, stay informed through Twitter and Facebook, bringing you breaking news and analysis as it happens. The ACLJ aggressively works to protect your religious and constitutional freedoms. That's our commitment to you. Cornerstone of our mission since the ACLJ began nearly 25 years ago. The ACLJ on the front lines, and we want you to have an important resource, free, our gift to you. It's called the Foundations of Freedom, and it includes the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Gettysburg Address. Get your free copy today. Call now, 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255. Stay in touch with the ACLJ online, aclj.org.
Hey, welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. And again, for those of you who are watching, let me get you up to speed. We're here in our media center at the ACLJ. You're not seeing us in our radio studios. We're not in Washington this week. We just helped John Schlitt, a very good friend of ours, produce a brand new music video from his song Faith and Freedom, which you're going to see at the end of this broadcast. It's absolutely great. He's got a brand new album out as well called The Greater Cause. We're going to talk about that album. You're going to want to get that album. You can go to johnwschlitt.com. Very easy way for you to get information there. We'll link it right on the ACLJ website. We'll also push it over so that you can, if you want our Foundations of Freedom, which is that booklet on the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and Bill of Rights, I'm going to send it to you, and we're going to have a special access point for you to watch that video again. So, and we're going to encourage you to get the album. But let's go right back to the discussion here. The number's on the screen if you want to get that information. John, let's go to a discussion about the greater cause concept. Mm-hmm. We'll get back into the faith and freedom thing. But this was an album that you mentioned used Kickstarter, which is new technology. This is a lot of artists are doing this now. So people are heavily engaged in the process, which I think was great, I'm sure, for everybody. But let's talk about the album concept. You've got Faith and Freedom is one song. We're going to see that in it, but you've got another song right now that there's a music video for that's being produced right now. Let's talk about it.
It's Take Me Home.
Yep.
And that's basically the son that went off and came back, the prodigal son. And it's just done in a little different way, in a style that, music style that I totally appreciate, feels very exciting. And I think that we all are prodigals. I mean, sure. We have a tendency to want to shy away. We're Americans. We venture out and then we go, oh my gosh, we blew it. But we've got to understand, through Jesus Christ, we can come back. We have that option. And I think it's a wonderful song to be able to do it, to be able to state a fact that is sometimes so overlooked and taken for granted, which in turn we forget. Yeah. And the greater cause there's so many different causes that I want to bring up through these different songs. And the greater cause is, the Take Me Home is absolutely saying, oh man, I totally went away. I blew it so badly. There's no way I can come. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. You can always come back.
Let's go back to Faith and Freedom then, because there's a tie-in I want to get to. And Faith and Freedom, in Faith and Freedom, what I get out of the song is this idea that what you said at the beginning of the broadcast, that our faith and belief in Jesus is not in any way counter to our citizenship as Americans, and that there's a connection. Of course, there are a lot of Christians that aren't Americans, and we all understand that. But our country uniquely has this endowed by our Creator worldview. Mm-hmm. We're endowed by our Creator with these inalienable rights. In putting the song together and the music video, the music video tells a real story. Kind of a very America story. Right. What's your sense of spiritually where the country is right now, especially as we're getting ready in this general election season that we're now in? I think President of the United States.
I personally think we're right. The battle is right in front of us. It couldn't be more obvious. I truly believe the Christian faith is absolutely essential for this country to survive, and for anyone to say, "Oh, it's passé," it's past. It was great back then, but it's not politically correct now. I'm sorry. It's absolutely essential. And it was very important for me to bring across the fact, through my music, whatever avenue I get, to say this is essential. Christ is essential in this country. And notice I say I'm a citizen of this world.
Right.
This country is absolutely more important than just for us here in this continent.
Correct.
Our country is the haven, I think the last haven for true Christian faith, true Christian the country being guided through a Christian faith.
Yeah.
And
the world, lens of a worldview.
The world is looking for that leadership. We may, they may complain about it and all this, but if we were gone, who would be there to represent the Lord Jesus Christ?
Well, I mean, when more missionaries come out of the United States than any place else in the world, that tells a lot. But the good news is, what we're seeing around the globe is Christian. I think part of this is with Christian persecution in the Middle East being so significant.
Yes.
That it tends to rise these issues up and raise these issues up, and all of a sudden people are talking about faith. They're talking about Christianity. They're talking about what Jesus means in their lives,
right.
And it makes a difference. Let's talk about the totality of the album. What you were looking for, what you're trying to accomplish with the greater cause. Because the statement itself says, I'm standing for something greater than myself.
Right. It's my belief.
Yeah.
I, as a Christian artist, I believe that we have a responsibility to make a difference. How are we relevant? How are we as Christians relevant? Do we sit in our church and praise God and that's great and close the doors and say that's good enough? Or do we get out and find out how we make a difference in the world we live in today? And I think the greater cause, it just reminds us, every song is basically one of those things where it says, okay, how do I relate here? There's a song called No Fear. Okay, fear is a mighty tool to keep us from doing anything. I say no, I don't accept fear anymore. I have a God who's greater than that. It's time for me to go forward. I think probably the total theme is let's go forward. How do we make a difference in this world as Christians?
Yeah, no retreat here. I mean, this is
absolutely.
Not the time for retreat.
There is no time for retreat.
Yeah, and especially, there's never a time for retreat when you're serving the King, but when you're in a situation as the country finds itself in.
I think even blind heathens are seeing that there's a battle going on in the spiritual. Yeah. And there is no sitting on fences. Fence used to be wide. You could sit on it, it was comfortable, everything's cool. It's a razor blade now. There is no sitting on the fence anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a very good way of looking at it. What would you say is, taking faith and freedom out of it, what is the song on that album, or two songs on that album, that sum up what you're trying to say? I mean, I know that's always hard.
That is hard. Okay.
But in this iTunes age, people do that. I mean,
I guess the only way I can say it is the first single that came out is called Hope That Saves the World.
Yep.
I picked that because of the message, because of the music style, and the delivery vocally. There's a whole lot of things going on there. It's exciting from the time it starts to the time it ends. The message is very important. And it's
What's the message?
Hope That Saves the World. I mean, look at us. We're always searching. We're a searching people.
Right.
And we're looking for answers. And we're trying to find that encouraging word. We're always trying to find encouragement. Why are we looking in all the wrong places? We've got a God who lit the stars, spun the earth, gave us life. Why are we not going there to the hope that saved the world, that built the world? And that's the message. It's very simple. I'm not a complicated person, but it really says something I think we need to start being encouraged about.
The response has been very good.
Very good. Very good.
Very good.
I'm very pleased. The message is so important. And right now, the messages of this album, for instance, I think every song has a message that's relevant for today.
Let me play a little bit of I think it'd be a good time to do this, a little bit of The Cross Remains. This was off of our documentary film called The Export. We'll play a little bit of that, but a little bit of the song as we go to break. But folks, as we do that, let me encourage you we're talking about faith and freedom and what it all means. Get the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. How can you not be educated? Of course you have to be educated. And we've got a great booklet called Foundations of Freedom. We're going to send it to you. It's going to be our gift to you. You just call 877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255 for The Cross Remains. We'll get you information about that. We're going to get you information about the great brand new DVD on faith and freedom. In fact, we'll get The Cross Remains up on the website so you can have that one, and we'll let you know how you can get the others. Folks, great resources for you. Our gift to you, but here's what I need you to do. Go to aclj.org or call 877-989-2255 and visit John Schlitt's site, johnwschlitt.com. We'll have that up on the TV screen as well. We'll have a link on the ACLJ website, and get this new album, The Greater Cause. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more with John Schlitt in just a moment.
The cross remains.
American Center for Law and Justice is committed to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms. Whether it's in court or on Capitol Hill, the ACLJ stands ready to defend the Constitution. And there's no better way to get the information you need than through the ACLJ's website at aclj.org. Also, stay informed through Twitter and Facebook, bringing you breaking news and analysis as it happens. The ACLJ aggressively works to protect your religious and constitutional freedoms. That's our commitment to you, cornerstone of our mission since the ACLJ began nearly 25 years ago. The ACLJ on the front lines, and we want you to have an important resource, free, our gift to you. It's called The Foundations of Freedom, and it includes the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Gettysburg Address. Get your free copy today. Call now, 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255. Stay in touch with the ACLJ online, aclj.org.
Hey, welcome back to this very special ACLJ this week. Our guest is our good friend John Schlitt. We're talking about a brand new album he has out called The Greater Cause. You can get information about that, of course, by visiting johnwschlitt.com. But let me also say this, very important, folks, and I'm glad that we're able to do this on television so you could see. We're in our media offices here at the ACLJ. Now, in these media offices, this is usually a conference room, and we have lawyers coming in and out of here. This is where our internet, radio, TV is done in this building. But it was a music video last night. It was a set for a music video, I should say, last night for a brand new song on John's brand new album called Faith and Freedom. I want to go back to that song because we're going to exclusively show this incredible video in just a few moments. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. And there's a couple of surprises in it, which one I alluded to already. But I think the one surprise, and I'll say it right here, is the energy level. You know, you talk about we've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. Yet your energy level, even last night as we were filming, was really high, and that's because you think and you know in your heart that the mission and the statement of what you're trying to communicate is as important now as it was with Petra back in the 80s and 90s. It's that important.
Absolutely. It's my job to deliver what I believe. And if I don't believe it, I'm not going to waste time with it. I truly believe this message. And it's my, as a lead singer, I have to bring that energy across because people hear with their eyes. And one of the rare times for music to go over the airways and be seen, I've got to use that.
As you travel around, I know you just had a little bit of a reunion with your Head East guys. You guys got into one of the state rock and roll Hall of Fames. And you look back even on that part of your career, which was successful, but like you said, you got a second chance because it was pretty rough. Let's talk about that for just a minute. I want, people are knowing that, a lot of people know you as the John Schlitt from Petra and now in your solo career and your touring. But there was the John Schlitt, who I knew, I mean, not personally, but I knew from Head East. That whole phase of life, God's redemption in there, and where it brought you today. Kind of give us a little bit of testimony.
Okay, let's say it this way. I believe God allowed me to do that to learn the way of being a front man, of learning to be in front of a lot of people all the time. The experience was priceless. Yeah. But it cost me a lot. Because in that system, basically, I say it's a system totally without Christ. Yep. You're wide open. If you're not a Christian, you are wide open for the tools. And I came from a little town, and I didn't want to do any of this drug stuff, but I ended up in a 5-year period. I went from a guy who was a bartender and maybe drank a beer every once a night, one night, to an alcoholic and a cocaine freak. In fact, to a point where it got so bad that they fired me. Yeah. Because I was so extreme, and it's like the kettle calling the pot black, but apparently I was worse than everyone else. I got fired. It totally spun my world out of control. Went on a binge for 6 months, almost committed suicide, and only because my wife was a Christian, who during the 6-month period that I went on a binge, she became a Christian, and it was like the total battle of the two worlds.
She asked you to go speak to a pastor, right?
Yes, she did. And I said, oh, sure, I will. I know what I'm planning on doing, so it doesn't matter. I'll show you that I tried. So when I take the pills I was planning on taking, she can put on my grave, he tried. Yeah. And walked in and talked to a pastor who was on fire for Christ. My wife tried to tell me I wouldn't accept it. Of course, I'm a husband. Right. And that pastor just totally opened my eyes. I became a Christian, and my world changed. And
when you say your world changed, how long of a period of time from that period of coming to Christ to the Petra days?
5 years.
Yep.
5 years, and it took 5. That's again, I think
it was a good thing, you think?
I think looking back at it, was God's plan, because I needed that 5 years of becoming a stable Christian.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to go through your 2 years of being, or a year of being a baby Christian that's wacko, another year or so to finally start getting in the Word and getting into a stability. It took 5 years to be where He would plan for me to be, as a spokesman for Christ in front of so many people, in front of a band that was synonymous for being the Christian rock band in the world.
Right.
And I had the experience, but I needed the depth.
Were you surprised when the guys from Petra called you?
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was a joke. In fact, I got ticked because I thought it was somebody playing a joke on me, because they knew I was a big Petra fan. And so when Bob Hartman called me and said, "You know who I am?" I said, "Yeah, this isn't Bob Hartman, no way." He says, "No, this is Bob Hartman." I said, "Okay." And then when he said, "We would like to know if you'd be interested in singing lead for Petra," and I go, "Okay, that's okay. Who is it? Who is this? It's not funny, you know." And it took him a little while to convince me. And what's funny is he says, "Would you consider?" "Yeah, let's do it." And he goes, "Don't you think you should pray about it?" And I go, "Yeah, okay."
You prayed about it, then you did it.
I did it. Oh, absolutely.
And what a great career that was.
Oh, it's been, you know, it was amazing, Jay.
Yeah,
I think, you know, I look back on it 30 years ago, 32 years, no, whatever it has been, it was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Life goes fast when you're having a ball.
Yep.
You know, it's
the Lord has been good and is certainly blessing your work. And as you're about to see, folks, you're going to see John's latest endeavor. The videos, the music's called, the song's called Faith and Freedom. The video is produced here at the ACLJ, right here at our media headquarters. You're going to see that. Again, we're going to get you special access to this video once you've seen it here. There will be additional ways for you to get access to it. This is the world premiere of this video, and it literally will be playing, because of the networks we're on, which we appreciate very much, around the world. So again, the number's on your screen. If you want to call in, we're going to send you Foundations of Freedom. We'll give you special access to this video, get you some other information about John, johnwschlitt.com. Information's also on the screen there. You can get that. But now let's take a look at Faith and Freedom.
I'm an American, red, white, and blue, and I'm a citizen of this world and of heaven. Some things were meant to be together. I believe in faith and freedom, got a country too. I believe with faith and freedom, we're gonna make it through. They tried to knock us down, but we will stand and fight. It's time to show them how truth can never be divided. We have strength when we're united. I believe in faith and freedom, got a country too. I believe with faith and freedom, we're gonna make it through.
The whole world is asking, does America have the moral and spiritual capability to lead the world to freedom at this moment?
We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God.
America is stronger because of the values that we hold dear. We believe faith and freedom must be our guiding stars, for they show us truth, they make us brave, give us hope, and leave us wiser than we were.
My grandfather came through Ellis Island, left Soviet Russia because of religious persecution. He was a fruit peddler in Brooklyn, New York, and his grandson gets to argue cases at the Supreme Court of the United States.
The same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God.
I do not fear what is ahead, for our problems are large, but our heart is larger. Our challenges are great, but our will is greater. And if our flaws are endless, God's love is truly boundless.
Freedom and fear, justice and cruelty have always been at war, and we know that God is not neutral between them.
We believe in America. We believe in ourselves. Our greatest days are ahead. We are, after all, Americans.
We gotta rise up, we gotta stay strong, 'cause everything's on the line. We gotta rise up, we gotta stay strong, to save our way of life. We gotta rise up, we gotta stay strong, 'cause everything's on the line. We gotta rise up, we gotta stay strong, to save our way of life. I believe in faith and freedom, got a country too. I believe with faith and freedom, we're gonna make it through. I believe in faith and freedom, got a country too. I believe with faith and freedom, we're gonna make it through. We gotta rise up, we gotta stay strong. We gotta stand up, 'cause everything's on the line. Yeah. We gotta rise up, we gotta stay strong. We gotta stand up to save our way of life. I believe in faith and freedom. We gotta stand up, 'cause everything's on the line. I believe with faith and freedom. Stand up to save our way of life. Yeah! Don't lose your freedom. Let's talk about it.
The American Center for Law and Justice is committed to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms. Whether it's in court or on Capitol Hill, the ACLJ stands ready to defend the Constitution. And there's no better way to get the information you need than through the ACLJ's website at aclj.org. Also, stay informed through Twitter and Facebook, bringing you breaking news and analysis as it happens. The ACLJ aggressively works to protect your religious and constitutional freedoms. That's our commitment to you, cornerstone of our mission since the ACLJ began nearly 25 years ago. The ACLJ on the front lines, and we want you to have an important resource, free, our gift to you. It's called The Foundations of Freedom, and it includes the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Gettysburg Address. Get your free copy today. Call now, 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255. Stay in touch with the ACLJ online, aclj.org.